All right, shalom, and welcome to another show of GMS Collage. Giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, of course, first and foremost. Then giving double honors to the elders, the elder apostles of GMS who rule well, who have given us the tools and these different things to look out for to be able to, teach the truth and teach the word. And also honor and salutations to your other brothers who have, taken those tools and used them to also push the word. All right, so today's topic is going to be, I think I'm gonna name the show, Lord willing, the end of oil could usher in the chip. All right, of course, we know the chip is gonna come, but we don't know exactly what's going to be the driving force behind the implementation of the chip. We just know it's coming. We know that we know the circumstances under which it's going to be mandatory because the scriptures tell us, but we don't know what's going to cause the coming of the chip. So this show, though there's going to be a couple of articles and some scriptures that I'm going to read, this is speculation on my part that this could be it. As you can see on the screen, it says the Rockefellers are pulling their charity fund out of fossil fuels. So I heard about the Rockefellers pulling their money out of oil from a radio show that I listened to. It's an internet radio show. It's nothing viable. They joke around a lot, but I thought it was interesting that they brought this up. So one of the guys on the show, he said, how do the Rockefellers who have made billions from oil take their money and pull it out of oil? And that's interesting. A family who's gotten rich off of this off of oil now is pulling their money out of oil. I thought it was something to pay attention to, so I started, digging around and looking for different things. And today I'm going to share what I found. So it says, I'm going to start reading it. So I'm not going to read every part of each article. I'm just going to touch on certain things, and most of it's going to be commentary. And I got a scripture I want to read to keep it scriptural. But like I said, I'm just going to bounce around a little bit, so bear with me. Hopefully it's edifying, and hopefully the brothers that do watch can take this little bit of information and go look it up yourself. All right, so it says here, a sign of the times from a family that made its fortune in oil. It says the Rockefeller oil dynasty is set to divest its charity foundation from fossil fuels. The family whose patriarch, John D. Rockefeller, founded Standard Oil in 1870 will put its Rockefeller Brothers Fund, an $860 million philanthropic organization, into the same category as around 180 other institutions, including religious organizations and pension funds, which have pledged to divest any asset tied to fossil fuels in lieu of cleaner and more sustainable alternatives. So if you read that and you say, okay, well, they're taking their money out of oil and then putting it into cleaner options, it sounds like a reasonable thing to do, right? But this is Esau we're talking about here. This is the devil incarnate we're talking about here. So we know that his intentions are never righteous. His intentions are never good. There's always some wicked behind each decision that he's made, and mainly it's to maintain his power over the earth. And you're gonna see that. So it says hundreds of wealthy individuals have made similar moves. The Times cites a statement from Arabella Advisors that says a total of $50 billion from various groups and $1 billion from individuals has been divested from fossil fuels in recent years. It says the Rockefeller Fund has already replaced its investments in coal and tar sands entirely while investing in more alternative energy sources. But its president, Stephen Heinz, said that progress toward complete divestment from fossil fuels is being made slowly but surely. We're moving soberly but with real commitment, he said. So why such a commitment, right? Why such a sudden, seemingly sudden, I recommend this documentary because this is the only reason why all of this stuff makes sense to me, because I saw this documentary first. The documentary is called From JFK to 9/11, Everything is a Rich Man's Trick. And I can't stress enough how much I recommend this documentary to everybody to see. Like I said before in another video I made, it's 3 hours long, but it's well worth the 3 hours. There's certain parts in the documentary where you kind of trail off and your mind starts going other places, but once you hear the orator start to pull things together and sew all the pieces together, it gets interesting. So I recommend it, and if you watch it, all of this what I'm saying is going to make sense. So again, why such a commitment to them pulling out of oil? It's the thing that has made not just the Rockefeller family rich, but all these other families that have these elite families that have put their money into oil. They've gotten rich off of it too. So why the sudden removal of their money from oil? So as you know, oil is or maybe you don't know, but oil is the one of the last commodities that is sustaining the U.S. dollar, because to purchase oil by these different countries, for them to purchase oil, they have to purchase it in dollars. So for them to do that, they have to buy the dollars in their own currency, and then with the dollars that they receive, then buy oil. So oil is the one thing that's sustaining the American dollar, right? So if oil crashes, then that means the dollar crashes. So as I was looking up a couple of different things, I couldn't find the article that I read, but as I was looking up a couple of things, it said that just lost my train of thought here. Oh, that you see as of late, it's spiked back up a little bit, but as you can see, in the last 5 years, gas is at its cheapest, right? Yesterday I was driving home from work. It was like $1.95 for regular gas, and before like maybe a couple of weeks ago, it was even down to $1.65 for regular gas. So in the last 5 years or so, that's the maybe even in the last 10 years, that's the cheapest that gas has ever been. So if you gotta wonder why all of a sudden is gas only $1.65? What's making gas so cheap? So I looked up this article, and I wish I could find it, but I can't. It said that the reason for the cheap gas prices is because there's an overproduction of oil, right? So that doesn't sound like such a bad thing, right? But the more of something that there is, the cheaper it becomes, right? So or the less valuable it becomes, right? So because of this overproduction of oil, it's driven the gas prices down. So now the people who sell oil, right? The countries who sell oil are now are struggling because now there's so much of it. The countries that have to buy it can say, hey, I don't have to buy it from you. I can buy it from these other guys for this cheaper price or what have you. So the oil is being driven down, and my speculation says that it's deliberate. It has to be deliberate. The family who's made their money off of oil, all of a sudden pulling their money out of oil, that says to me that this is a deliberate driving down of oil, the one thing that's sustaining this dollar. So why would they do that? Why would they want the dollar to go away? It's because they're trying to, implement this chip, right? So I got this other article here. Let's read this. What the hell is this shit? It says here, oil bust could end dollar denomination, right? So it says, let's see, I'll start here. This is from, let me read where it's from. I didn't say. The last one was from Time Magazine .com, I believe. Let me check if I'm right. Yeah, from Time Magazine, right? And this one is from oilprice.com. All right. So you can look these things up once you see the show. So it says the U.S. dollar survived the collapse of Bretton Woods in the 70s because its use in crude oil transactions made it the king of reserve currencies. But can it survive a collapse of petrodollars? Can the world survive the catastrophic geopolitical consequences that would follow? So it says here, there is an overriding belief that the U.S. dollar can hold on to its status as the world's king reserve currency simply because of petrodollars. But in recent years, a serious threat to this system has developed, and the risk of the dollar being dethroned is very real. So this is this is stuff that we've been saying. I mean, me personally, for the last 8 years, due to what the elders have taught, and the elders themselves for decades have been saying that the dollar is going to be done away with. It says here, the U.S. dollar has reigned supreme since the end of World War II, when the Bretton Woods system gave it its initial power. With Bretton Woods' collapse in 1971, oil became its new savior and kingmaker as the U.S. dollar became the prime currency for crude oil transactions. So like I said earlier, you have to buy the dollars and then purchase the oil in dollars. So it says in 1973 the U.S. made a pact with the Saudi king to conduct all crude oil trades in U.S. dollars in return for U.S. protection of its oil fields. Because of the global hunger for crude, the demand for U.S. dollars experienced a similar sustained hunger, right? So because of the hunger for oil, you had this hunger for the dollar, right? But now that oil is being overpriced, right, and the hunger for it is not as great, in turn, now the hunger for the dollar won't be as great, right? So it says the major producers of crude oil had an abundance of dollars, which was recycled back into the system to purchase dollar-denominated assets. The consumers pay for crude oil in dollars, hence they always have to keep a steady reserve of dollars, thereby maintaining a high demand for the currency. This is now under threat and history risks being repeated. It says here, the Bretton Woods system failed due to the overvaluation of the dollar as spending increased over the war in Vietnam War and America's Great Society programs. The argument that the U.S. dollar is a flawed currency is gaining ground. According to the commodity guru Jim Rogers, this is illustrated by a string of quantitative easings by the U.S. Fed and an ultra-low interest rate policy and ever-increasing U.S. debt. Demand for the U.S. dollar has remained high despite this because of the world's reliance on it to fund crude oil purchases. But this paints a false picture. Over the past few years, countries such as China, Russia, Iran, Brazil, Russia, India, and China, and South Africa, the BRICS nations, have begun to pose a challenge to the current system, forming pacts to transact oil in local currencies, bypassing the petrodollar. So as you can see, the reason why the Rockefellers will pull their money out, oil it's nothing to get anymore. It's not this thing, this hot commodity for everybody to be after, because so many different countries are producing it, and they're producing it at a high rate. In that same article that I said I couldn't find, it mentioned that we're producing more oil than we're using. So again, that drives down the value of it, right? The basic principle in commercial business is supply and demand. If there is no demand and you're oversupplying, that means you're pretty much wasting money, So I'll read this last article, and this is from, I don't know, DW, Made for Minds. I believe it was German. It said Deutsch something when I've seen it on my phone, but I don't see the name of it here. But anyway, this is the website here. You can find it when you get a chance. So it says Rockefeller Fund, the oil age is coming to an end. It says Stephen Heinz, president of the Rockefeller Brothers Fund, explains to DW how it makes perfect sense that a fund which got rich on oil is now divesting from fossil fuels. Okay, I remember why I wanted to read this. So as you're going to see when I read it, they try to give a reason to why they're taking their money out of oil, right? Again, like I read in the first article, it mentioned this clean energy alternative. But here in this article, it says why the clean alternative to oil is the better option, and they mention something. And again, it's only going to make sense if you've seen this documentary, so I recommend you watch it. And it might make sense to you even without that, but I'll go ahead and read it. But I still recommend that documentary. So it says here, with its announcement to pull out of oil and coal, the Rockefeller Brothers Fund became a figurehead of the divestment movement. DW talked to the fund's president about what was behind the move. It says here, DW. This is from the people, I guess, that work for DW. So it's going to be like, you'll see here, when DW speaking, it's in like italics, and then when this guy Stephen Heinz is talking, it's in regular print. All right, so it says here, John D. Rockefeller heralded a new era in history with Standard Oil. Are the Rockefellers now ending the oil age? Stephen Heinz says, we are hoping to help to finish the oil age. It is time to move away from fossil fuels and to move as quickly as possible to clean, renewable energy in order to save the planet. The oil age is now coming to its own end. So the plight is that, we're trying to save the planet, and let's protect the planet, which is bullshit. That's all bullshit. So it says, why was your announcement that the Rockefeller Brothers Fund is pulling out of oil coal such a big surprise? He says, it is ironic that the family whose wealth was created in the oil industry is now a leading force in the effort to abandon fossil fuels. So that's why people are like, what the hell? You got these people who made their money on oil. Now they're pulling out of it. What the heck is going on? It says the Rockefellers are one of the wealthiest and most influential dynasties in America. Which impact did your announcement have? It says this, I think it has helped to draw more attention to the risks of climate change and significantly contributed to building momentum in the divestment movement. We hope that it will help trigger historic change. I wonder what that historic change is. So it talks about this climate change, and what it's speaking about is global warming. I think he mentions it a little lower down here in the conversation. But there is no such thing as global warming. Global warming is the boogeyman. So if you watch that documentary, one of the biggest things that it mentioned was we always need an enemy. And what that enemy does is it corrals the people behind the United States government for their decision making. So right now the enemy is who? ISIS, right? So now every American says, whatever the United States decides to do to defeat ISIS, I'm with it. You know what I mean? So even though ISIS is just the plight, or just the thing that they put in your face to say this is why we're going over here, it's not the real reason why they're going over there. But to get the American people behind it, they give you a boogeyman. So now to get people behind moving away from oil, what's the boogeyman that you give them? Global warming. This is to protect the climate. This is to protect the earth. It's all a boogeyman type thing to get the American people behind all the decisions that they're making, so that they can do it, whatever their plan is, in secret, right? So now you got the American people who think, oh, now their whole thing is gas is cheap now, so they feel good. They feel like, oh, America must be thriving, and whatever decisions that they're making, because gas is cheap. I'm only paying $1.95 for regular gas now, so things must be going well. But they don't understand that the dollar can't last with these cheap oil prices. It can't last. So I want to read the scripture real quick. It's in 2nd Ezra 16 and 21. It says, behold, Victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. So how is that famine going to be brought about, right? So if oil gets to a point where it's no longer being used, if they transition to this so-called cleaner energy, right? What's going to happen to the trucking companies that deliver your food to the grocery stores? What's going to happen to the common everyday car that you use to get to these grocery stores? You're not going to be able to do it because no one else is using oil. Oil is not being used anymore. So if these trucks can't get to your local grocery store, right, to deliver your food, then you're going to run out of it, right? So oil being so cheap is not a good thing. So it says, and the dead shall be cast out. I'm sorry, I want to make sure I didn't skip anything. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. So this is what's coming here, all right. And in short, this is what's coming here. So this is just a little information just to keep your eye out on. The wealthy, one of the wealthiest families is taking their money out of the thing that made them wealthy. So hopefully this was some fun information to hear about. I don't know if fun is the right word to use, but I enjoyed finding out about all this stuff. That's why I probably use fun. I enjoyed finding out about these things because you sometimes get into this mode where you feel like nothing's going on, but if you dig and you reach enough, you'll find out that Esau is making moves, man. Esau is making moves, and he ain't playing. He has a plan that he's been trying to put forth over the last I don't know, since the 1700s when America was established. They've had this plan. And they're going forward with it, man. They're going forward with it. So we're in the time to pray to the Most High to deliver us out of this this hell that we're getting ready to go through. We're coming upon the time of Jacob's trouble, man. It's gonna be a scary time, man. So it's time to pray to the Lord and ask Him to strengthen us in this time. So again, hopefully this is edifying. I feel like it wasn't enough, but that's probably just me being a tough critic on myself. But hopefully it was good, man. And you brothers got this information. You can take it and do a little bit more research and maybe hit me up and say what I missed, or make another video and tell brothers what's going on with Esau and what they got planning. So yeah, with that, I want to say Dawadi Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai for allowing me to teach this word. And then double honors to the elders for giving us the tools to teach this word, through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and also honor and salutations to you other brothers that are out there teaching the word in sincerity and truth. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom.